Okie doke. So this is something that I've wanted to do for a little bit now, and I'm finally getting around to it. Chop Till You Drop kind of motivated me to want to go back and play a good Dead Rising game. And as I said, I kind of wanted to redo the entirety of Dead Rising 2, starting with Case 0 and working my way down to Case West. So this should be pretty fun. I haven't played this game. I haven't played any of Dead Rising 2 in a very, very long time. And I haven't played Case 0 probably in the longest. I don't think that there's anything on this main screen. Like, I don't think there's a secret cutscene or anything, but I'll wait a little bit longer until we get there. Playing this on the Xbox One, I toyed around with it for a little bit, like last night. It doesn't seem like it's any different from the 360 version. It might look a little bit better. I feel like it might perform better, but that's about it. Should be right around now. If there was a secret cutscene, it should play right around now. Like 2 minutes in or so. I don't think there is, though. I don't remember there being anything specifically here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say no. So I'm going to go ahead and start a game, or restart the story here, because why not?
Reporting live from just outside Las Vegas. It has been almost 12 hours since the first reports of a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas. The death toll is estimated to be over 100,000, and as many as a staggering 1 million people may be infected. The military has set up a 50-mile perimeter outside Las Vegas. They have shoot-to-kill orders for anyone off the main roads. Military and government personnel are screening everyone at the roadblocks before allowing them to leave the quarantine area. Has trickled to a stop in the last few hours, an ominous sign that few survivors remain. Which is said to inhibit the zombification process for a period of 12 hours, is being widely administered. Anyone discovered to be infected but not yet turned will be quarantined and reportedly given medical attention.
No, Daddy, no!
Nobody likes shots, honey. But it's very important that you get this.
Daddy, I don't like shots.
You won't have to take another one for a long time. A whole 12 hours.
Maybe we'll run out.
Sorry, sweetie. Daddy's got a few more. Hello? Anybody here? Katie, stay right here. That's my truck! Stop! Son of a bitch! The Zombrex.
Daddy, there's a man over there.
We're okay now, honey. They can't get in.
Now that I think about it, Chuck moving that vending machine might be up there with Chris Redfield punching a boulder. That's a pretty big feat of... You ever try moving a vending machine?
Katie, Daddy loves you so much.
But where are you going?
I have to go get some more Zombrex and figure out how to get us out of here.
But no, Daddy, I don't even like Zombrex.
I know, honey. But it's very important. You need another one before bedtime. You stay here. I promise I'll be back as soon as I can.
You're not afraid of those bad people outside?
Nothing's gonna stop me from keeping you safe.
I love how realistic Katie is in this game. Yeah, I know about that. So this is still Creek. It's pretty alright, you know, it's a tiny little town. I think this was as big as they needed to go. You know, they didn't need to get any bigger than this. Los Perditos was pretty good. I don't mind it, but this was as big as they needed to go. So Dead Rising 2 has a very, I think, complete story. You know, there's a prologue, there's the main game, then there's an epilogue. But there's also a comic that ties Dead Rising 1 directly into this game, Case Zero, called Dead Rising Road to Fortune. And it literally pretty much picks up, like, right after the comic ends. Right before this happened, Chuck's wife got bit and turned into a zombie. So that's, like, pretty much just happened. Chuck just lost his wife. And at the end of the comic, it's Chuck driving into Still Creek. So it's pretty in-depth, the story of Dead Rising 2, when you really look at it as a whole. A little fun fact is that news broadcast that we were hearing from Rebecca Chang, not only is it interesting because, hey, that's Rebecca Chang, you know, that's a character that'll become important in Dead Rising 2, but in the comic, you get to see her make it, and standing right next to her taking pictures while she's making that broadcast is none other than Frank West. So I think that's pretty cool. Cool way to tie that together. Just cool knowing that behind the scenes, you know, during that broadcast, Frank is there. So obviously, this is the introduction of combo weapons, which I think was an amazing change in addition to the Dead Rising series. You know, a lot of the weapons in Dead Rising 1, they were practical, they were fun. You know, the small chainsaws, the katanas, and the, you know, other weapons like that, guns, were fun, but they were kind of boring. I think this really spices it up quite a bit. So I'm a fan of combo weapons. It's going to tell me how to save in here. I don't care. Get me out of here. And the comic, not only does it lead into this and help set up Dead Rising 2, it also helps set up Case West, which is pretty nice. And of course it gives closure to the Dead Rising 1 story. Shows how Isabella and Frank got out of Willamette at, from the end of Dead Rising 1. Yeah, there we go! Drinking too much will make Chuck sick. It's the best tip you ever get in these games, because they show it to you so often. That's like a running joke between me and my friends at some point when we started first playing this game, was drinking too much will make Chuck sick. So, since I'm playing this on the Xbone, and like I said, I only played this for like an hour last night, just to reacclimate myself with Still Creek. I'm not leveled up. You can only get to level 5 here. Same in Case West, I think. Or do they start you at 45 and you can go to 50? I don't remember, but in this game you can only get to level 5, and then if I were to... On the 360 version of this, you can then bring those 5 levels over to Dead Rising 2, but I never had Dead Rising 2 on the Xbox. I always had it on the PS3. These were the Xbox exclusives. And you know what? Hey, fine. Dead Rising 2 Case 0 and Dead Rising 2 Case West are fine exclusives. So is Dead Rising 3. But Dead Rising 4, man, did they get stuck with a stinker there. Sorry about that. That was my usual curse of I'm recording, so everyone just starts calling. No, you get away from me. And I'm definitely gonna, actually actively kill more zombies in this game than in Chop Till You Drop, because you'll notice, if you watch that, I kind of ignored a lot of the zombies and got hit quite a bit. Yeah, out of all of the games, like in Dead Rising 2, this was the one that I wanted to redo the most. Because this was one of the first games I ever did on this channel, which means I did it with a camcorder recording a TV, so... And also I think my style has changed quite a bit. Yep. So there aren't a whole lot of cases in this game. It's pretty much this, and then you have an entire day to just goof off, essentially. There's also not a whole ton of combo weapons to show off in this game. I'll show off some of them, but there's not a whole lot. I miss Chuck. I hadn't played as Chuck for a while. So it's always good to be back in his shoes. I'll always love Frank. Frank will always have a special place in my heart. But I think Chuck is a better character. I don't know if that makes any sense. I like Frank more, but Chuck is a better character. That's where I would keep the Zombrex, on the door.
We're organizing backup for your blockade now. Hang tight and do not let anyone pass your post. A new core team with full security detail will be there at 2100 hours. Repeat, backup will be there by nightfall.
Fix this.
So this is pretty much the crux of the entire game, is that we have a damaged bike that we can bring back to the safe house, and we need to repair it throughout the course of the game before the military arrives at night. And that's pretty much all we're going to be doing here. It's not a very long game. I'd say it's like 2.5 hours, maybe more, maybe 3, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to this game. You know, Dead Rising 2 and Case West are definitely way better. Case West, I feel like actually could have been a part of the main game, whereas this, it doesn't feel too necessary, but it is fun. This was best before the game had come out, Dead Rising 2, because this was essentially a demo. It was a demo that they, you know, you pay $5 for it, leave it to Capcom to find a way to make people pay for a demo, but I think this is a perfectly acceptable way of doing it. This is like the ground zeros of Dead Rising, but I think this actually has a little bit more merit on its own than Ground Zeroes, and it didn't cost $30.
Hold on, honey. Everything's gonna be just fine. Daddy's gotta go get a few things.
Daddy, I don't feel so good. Can I have some more of that medicine now?
I can't give it to you too early, honey. It's dangerous. You'll get too much.
You'll turn into a super zombie, Annie.
motorbike,
I mean, Katie,
Daddy.
damn it.
Daddy can fix anything.
It's so funny because I was such a big fan of, and I mean still am, obviously, a big fan of the original Dead Rising, that when Dead Rising 2 was first being announced, I was so against Chuck. Because there was those pictures, I don't think they really were indicative of the main game, because he looked a little weird. And I was like, who is this blonde asshole? I want to play as Frank, goddammit. And then, you know, the game came out, and I really like Chuck like a whole lot. So I'm glad for that. I'm glad Chuck isn't like a bad character, because I was so against him at first, because I only wanted Frank because Frank is such a great character. It's so rare that a series has two main characters that are like equally good.